The nearly 25 years that have passed since Super Mario 64's release have seen lots of 3D platformers. Some were good, some were bad, and some were just plain fantastic. However, there's a cult classic game that really doesn't get enough attention, and it's without a doubt the best 3D platformer ever. The game, which is so criminally underrated, and the game that you need to play is... The Polar Express! The incredibly realistic facial animations and lifelike eyes, just kidding, it's Dark Souls. So here's why Dark Souls is the best 3D platformer you've never played. Let's get into it.
Come on. Like, if I used this from the very beginning, that hitbox is so stupid. I would have killed him in half of those swings.
When Dark Souls first released in 2018, it gathered critical success. So much so that new players could get really far just off tips they learned from watching reviews. For example, in this review talking about how Dark Souls is really great,
Dark Souls sucks.
We get a helpful hint to use just the binoculars, and nothing else. Foolishly, you might think using weapons will be better, but Dark Souls rewards players for doing what is likely the worst thing in every situation. Because of this, the game is famous for its linear design and shallow RPG mechanics. Such a polished and pristine product could only be achieved by an experienced developer, and Miyamoto with his team at Square Enix have really put in the time to get it right. His career is just highlight after highlight with games like Viva Pinata and Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and it really shows in this latest title in the franchise. Let's make some comparisons. Mario, the game that started it all, is just utter garbage compared to the masterpiece that is Demon's Souls. However, this is somewhat understandable as Mario released all the way back in 2017, where the technology just wasn't where it is now, and all they had to go off of was the painfully average ukulele and the unremarkable A Hat in Time. Still though, you look at Mario and you can see how limited his moveset is. There's no life in the gameplay and it feels very samey and dry, which is why the game has such a small speedrunning community. Then you look at the acrobatic wonder that is the Chosen Undead, and you realize how many options you have for progression. Dark Souls just glides through levels with your complex moveset. It's a shame this kind of freedom was largely forgotten in the Dark Souls sequels. Miyamoto has made a bold choice of having no jump button, which at first had me worried, but I soon found out that the jump was attached to the run and roll button, meaning it only works half the time. This really adds a luck-based system to the game, which was definitely the right choice, given how easy Blood Souls would have been otherwise. Now for another experiment. Here's some footage of Donkey Kong, which released back in 2013 exclusively for the 3DS and had no other subsequent titles. Notice how all these levels look exactly the same? There's absolutely no variety in worlds, and it feels totally uninspired. I think GameSpot said it best with their review.
Despite some fun moments, this is one of the least exciting platformers I've played in some time.
Now level design is tough, even for Miyamoto and the boys, so they had to come up with a creative solution, which is to make every area super dark so it didn't matter if the levels looked the same. Really, the creativity shines through with the sheer amount of diversity on display. Like the iconic Catacombs, which is famous for being a spooky maze, or Darkroot Garden, which is remembered for being a foggy maze, and Tomb of the Giants, which is a fan favorite for being a dark maze, or even New Londo Ruins, which is beloved for being a dark maze. So many new and original ideas are here that Dark Souls doesn't even know where to put it all. It all comes together in the Demon Ruins in Lost Izalith, where the orchestral music is rising as you make your way through brand new enemies and bosses to finally reach the bed of chaos. The guys at Rare made a wise choice of making a 3D platformer with only one platforming boss fight. The design is so genius that it's beyond human comprehension, and it's one of the many reasons why the Bed of Chaos is held in such high regard as the best boss fight in the Soulsborne series. Or a lesser game like Jak and Daxter would crumble under the weight of the game's massive scale. Dark Souls thrives in its own sense and has proved that there is still a commercial interest in Mario Party ripoffs. And that's why the best 3D platformer of all time is Sekiro.